Our favorite baby.
Our only baby.
Okay, zoom in on Vanessa.
Vanessa is 2 weeks old and 3 days. She was 8 pounds, 10 ounces,
And 3/4.
and 3/4. And I was in labor 16 hours with Vanessa. That's fun. But she was worth it. Does she look like her dad? Let's compare. Yeah.
She's 20.5 inches.
Yeah, she's got daddy's teeth. Oh.
Oh.
Good yawner.
Oh.
Great for news.
Yes. She's being good. Look at her.
Vanessa's blue eyes.
There, sticky. Oh, good. We think she has blue eyes, but at 2 weeks it's hard to tell. Here, now Mom will hold her. Oh.
Vanessa was born in Blackfoot, Idaho.
Hold on to this.
They,
Let's show everyone
I
how
can't shake it very well yet.
good you are at holding on to things. Now hold her head. That's the famous saying for parents who never heard. Hold her head. Her head needs to be held.
Can you shake the rail a
Yeah.
I can do other things though.
Oh, she.
Okay, shake it. She's not interested today.
What happened was we had a video movie at home. It was the night of August 12th, a Thursday night. We were watching this movie, and we knew Andrea was pretty close, and we were going to induce her the next morning anyway. But she kind of started into labor, and we didn't know if her water had broken or what. But we thought maybe the time was close. And that night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, she started grabbing me about every 8 or 9 minutes, and we knew she had started into labor. So we went to the hospital and checked in at 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday the 13th.
Oh, boy.
That's why I don't want to.
Daddy watched TV and helped Mom through the contractions for the first 4 or 5 hours. We went to Lamaze and we tried the Lamaze breathing method and stuff, and it worked pretty well. But about 8 or 9 o'clock, we could tell we weren't progressing any, and that she might need some help. Dr. Hopper came and broke her bag of water, which hadn't been broken, and gave her an epidural, and it helped quite a bit. And then right soon after, she dilated to 5 centimeters, and we knew she was on her way. It was going to be a long process, but we weren't going to have to worry about a cesarean, we thought anyway. And throughout the afternoon, she got more and more dilated, and about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she finished, and we started pushing Vanessa out. And that was probably the hardest thing, because Andy was so tired. And it was hard for her to concentrate. It was hard for me to get her excited. Sometimes the doctor would come in and say, well, you know, we can see the head now, and we need a little farther, and that would excite her. But then the doctor would leave, and the nurses would leave, and it would be just Andrea and I. And I was beginning to wonder if anything was ever going to happen. Finally, about 6 o'clock, they said, well, she's not coming out any farther. They're going to have to use forceps. And so we went into the delivery room, and Dr. Hopper placed the forceps. And she came out fairly easily, her head, anterior. We thought for a while she might be posterior. But anyway, we couldn't get her shoulders out. We could tell she was a big baby. We couldn't get her shoulders out. So anyway, there were 3 nurses, and Dr. Hopper and my dad were there, and we were all pushing on Vanessa's stomach, or on Andrea's stomach, trying to get Vanessa out. And it wasn't working. And I don't know why, I was a little nervous behind, and I kept thinking, what happens if they don't get her out any farther? You know, I was getting a little concerned, but at this point, I walked to the far end of the delivery room and couldn't stand in place and just leaned up against the wall, so I just turned around and walked right back. And by the time I'd come back, they had got a little concerned, and we're pushing quite hard, and finally one shoulder came out, and then the other, and she slipped right out. And I was so concerned that the doctor make sure that the mucus was clean out of her mouth and she was breathing, and it took me about 10 or 20 seconds before I even thought about the sex. And Dad says, oh, look, it's a cute little girl, and that's the first time I even thought about it. And the overriding impression I had from the delivery room, excuse me if I'm taking all the time here, was...
Would you please be quiet? We'd like a word from Andrea, please.
And Vanessa had just gone through a horribly traumatic experience, and she needed to know that she was loved at that time. And
So they brought her to me and laid her on my tummy.
tell me how
She just, I was impressed that she was crying when they were cleaning her. And then they brought her over and she was just so calm, laying on me. Just knew everything I did.
She must have been horribly afraid, but she clung to us as her parents, and I was impressed at that time that we had a little dependent now that was ours, and we needed to help her and make her feel better. Now that when she was a little even older, when she came to us with problems, it would be up to us to make sure that she felt good about things.
See, and that's our story. Wave bye-bye to
And
Hannah.
we got to do a dance here before we end.
She's a disco baby. Oops.
Oh, the head is just a bopping. We'd like to come and have her filmed somewhere about every 3 or 4 months and keep it all on this same cassette. But look at your little blue outfit. These are my booties. This is when I shake my booty. I'm not big enough to shake my other booty yet. Okay, ready?
Nice, like
Do a dance.
disco baby.
Now let's get
Yeah,
this.
you're
Just cross-eyed. Gotta focus it.
Like father, like daughter. That's silly.
What are you going to think, Vanessa, when you're 20 years old and you look at this, huh? What are you going to think? You're going to think Dad was stupid and you were good looking, weren't you? That's okay, we love you.
That's good. Say hi, Taylor. We thought that we would make a little film of your new granddaughter, and for Brian and Eric, your new niece, and for Granny and Peepaw, your new great-granddaughter. So she's just waking up, so she might be kind of fussy. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? As you can see, her little outfit says Grandma's Girl on it. Can we get a close-up of that? There. Are you a Grandma's Girl? Huh? I'm a fussy girl. Say, who do I look like? We're still trying to figure out who she looks like. I think she looks a little bit like a mommy and dad. Vanessa's a really good girl, and she can't wait to come out at Christmas and meet you guys. She looks really enthused now, I know. Well, honey, do you have a few remarks to say?
Yeah, it seems like we're right downtown
Yeah, we're at
Motor
a friend.
Speedway, but we're not really. We're at a friend's house who has this camera, and we bought the cassette. We filmed a little last night, and it was dark, and the color wasn't real great, so we wanted to come over here this morning. Vanessa's got a fly on her, so we wanted to come over this morning when the lighting's a little better and take some good pictures so you can see how cute our baby is. And my wife.
That's the friend walking in the background.
Yeah, that's Tim. Scott's working with Tim this fall. Tim's an accountant. We could be working with him. Bringing in some extra cash.
Let's see those cute birthmarks, mister.
Hey, show. Let's see those birthmarks. Vanessa has a little birthmark under her nose. You can see it on her eye. Grandpa Packer says that they'll probably fade away, and we're thinking that they'll fade away.
Take her.
That's still cute, though.
See Grandma's girl.
There's Grandma's girl. Say hi, girl.
She has brown hair, and we thought she'd have lighter hair, but it probably will turn. And wish you could see her eyes. We think they're going to be blue like Andrea's.
Say, should we let Daddy hold Jen? Like this?
Okay. You know how to run that?
Is it already on you?
What? It's going, yeah, so it's just...
Okay.
We'll just talk.
You have to excuse our interruption. I'm just learning how to operate one of these deals.
Well, it works really great if you just hold it there for a while, but the zoom is on the front part.
Maybe Tim will show me.
Right here.
What news
Look
can you
right
get
here.
him on this video?
Push
there?
that way, it zooms in close.
And how do you get it back to normal?
How do I move the camera if I want?
So like when you move it, when you zoom in, you need to move the
Yeah. The focus will need
focus
to
the
be
lens.
changed. Isn't this an exciting letter? Do something exciting,
Is it
son.
focused?
Do
So
something
here's
exciting.
baby and dad.
The very first couple nights, Andy was still pretty sore from the operation. We'll bounce her around a little bit here and wake her up. And Mom was a little sore, so when she cried in the night, Mom would get up and get her, and I'd get her up. And after she'd eaten stuff and she's still fussy, Andrew would say, well, I can't do anything more. So it was up to me, and I'd take her and I'd try to get her to be good, and I'd walk her up and down the halls, and I'd take her upstairs and we'd watch TV together. Finally, about 3 o'clock in the morning, she'd go to sleep. And I'd take her back and lay her down, and she'd be down for about 5 minutes, and she'd wake up, and I'd get her up and go watch some more TV.
He was a good daddy.
You wouldn't believe right now she ever has trouble sleeping, do you?
Well, we'll have to get her awake. So
I
you
don't believe.
can you wake her, honey, somehow?
She has a little friend here.
Yeah, we're gonna
Tim
have
and
her.
Janice, baby Alan, we're gonna get down in that little while. They can talk together, maybe hold hands or something. We did it last night on Tim and Janice tape, and they were so cute. We wanted them on our tape. That little red button at the bottom, honey, stops it. Just push that in, and we'll come back a minute later and talk to you.
Oh, good. Vanessa.
We're going to take some film out here of the surrounding mountains. That's Y Mountain for BYU. They go up there and paint that periodically, and sometimes Utah comes and paints it too. Are we in focus, honey? Here is the street that is causing all the noise. There's the mailman. Believe me, it's a bright, sunshiny day. There's the Disco Palace right out here. I wish you could show you the school. I wish you could show you our apartment, but I don't think we can. But let's take a peek at these mountains a little bit and let you know what Provo is like. That's what's pointed in the sun. We think Provo is a pretty place. And we don't mind being here for another year, but then we're ready to move on. Maybe to Salt Lake City, probably. Stay there for a couple of years, 4 years, see what happens.
Oh, in overtime.
There's Tim's baby. Oh, he's in the chair and he's just not getting any attention. Oh, that's sweet. There's Mama's bottom.
They're best buddies already.
Yes, it was 18.
I think Vanessa's gonna cry in a second.
He says, Alan, would you quit moving me? I can hardly sleep.
Yeah,
Alan, don't grab your face.
I've had it with this.
Vanessa's so casual. Alan wants to kick her. But sometimes they fight. Yes, we're setting up Alan and Vanessa. About 16 years, maybe they'll start dating. Vanessa Anderson. How's that sound? Uh-oh.
Vanessa says he's gonna snore probably. Uh-oh. There come the parents to the rescue. Yeah. Vanessa's not.
Vanessa's waking up.
Yeah, oh, you would too if you had that kind of action on you.
Quit holding your ears.
Vanessa Johnny. Alan
Oh,
Vanessa.
who is this kid?
Vanessa can't
Put your
support
arm around her, son.
Oh, how sweet. Oh, Vanessa's head.
Take care, Mommy. Sit out, little.
Andrea's taking a peek at the monitor.
Look, Scott, you can't see it. Like that.
When you zoom in, you do because you lose the other light.
Hey, we're just doing your dad. Say hi, Grandma and Grandpa, and Uncle Eric, and Uncle Brian, and Grandma, and whoever's there.
Yeah, a little smile.
But your Aunt Debbie's there. Can you say hi to Aunt Debbie? Can you say hi? And maybe Alicia's there. Are you awake? Yes, it's awake. Hold on. Say hi again. Here
No.
we have Alan and Vanessa. They're starting to play quite young together.
Andrea didn't have twins. Actually, Alan is 4 months older than Vanessa. He was born when?
April.
In April, but he was a couple months premature, and so he had a couple months to get back to normal.
Vanessa? Show Alan's mom. This is Alan's mom, Janet. Hello. Hey, you guys.
Alan is fascinated with babies. We've noticed that. He likes them.
Wow. Vanessa's looking at you here. Can you give Alan a kiss? On the cheek? Oh. They're wondering what we're doing.
Oh, that's sweet.
Isn't she incredible? Oh. She's incredible. You're going to marry her someday. I think you're kind of cute, Alan.
Is he smiling? Yeah, he is. Turn him towards the camera more.
Alan's a smiler. Vanessa doesn't smile. Gas pain smiles. Come on. Here's Vanessa yawning. Oh, look at that. Can you give a nice big yawn there? Oh, can you smile too, Vanessa? Here. Smile. Ooh, she's got her daddy's cheek. Here, Vanessa. Here, hold Vanessa's hand. Can you hold him? Aww. Don't be a special.
Easy.
Well, was that on when we were going on?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
It was on then, and it's on now. Here's Tim filling out his report. What intensity.
Tim, smile.
Hello!
Tim was one of Scott's companions in this mission.
One. He was it for a year.
Yeah, they were companions a long time.
Long
They
enough
were-
to tolerate each other.
And Jana waited for him the whole time. Not always patiently, but
No, it's
and
Faithful.
Andrea waited for me the whole time too.
Since I didn't know.
Look at Alan, he's just fascinated. But I love this stuff.
He loves Vanessa. See, aren't babies fun?
This, I don't know if this will be very exciting for you guys, just to see half an hour of just us playing with babies, but Grandma and Grandpa Taylor will probably appreciate it more than the others, because it's their little granddaughter.
Are you Grandma's girl?
We want to have film of
Here's Vanessa Ball.
Vanessa when she's little, and so we don't mind taking a little time to film her.
She says, I missed you, Grandma and Grandpa. I'm gonna cry.
We're anxious to come out and see you in December and show her off. I bet she'll be a lot bigger by then.
Yeah, we're looking forward to coming out. Give us some nice, warm, sunshiny weather when we come out so we can really get away from the snow. Do you want to say bye-bye next to Grandma and Grandpa? And all the rest of the gang out there? Give a little kiss? Have a look?
Oh, that's sweet. Well, Daddy wanted to get in the action a little more before we quit, so that wasn't the end. So we're gonna have Daddy
You
hold her for
felt
a minute.
left out.
Yeah, I wanted to hold her.
Where's the zoom in?
Mama loves Daddy.
Vanessa likes me sometimes. She's pretty good. When she's hungry, she doesn't like me very much. But when she's not hungry, she likes me.
She does.
Well, she's-
not to pick her up and she'll be so calm.
Well, she was just awake a minute ago. What happened?
Say, I'm
You're holding me too good, Mom.
indecisive. Can't decide my sleeper.
Oh, that'll wake me up. That'll wake me up. is she fussing?
It's not cut out for dancing.
Is she fussing yet? Oh no, hold that head. Hold that head.
She wishes we'd stop bouncing around.
Yeah, it's horrible trying to get babies to be acting for grandma and grandpa. We should just be letting her sleep. In a minute she's gonna start crying and we won't be able to get her to sleep.
Here it comes.
Let's let him hear her cry. Oh, your head's all
This is
tilted.
a precious little shot of
With her neck broken.
Oh, that's a good eyes.
Dad.
I don't know if you can see, but her eyes are blue. She opened them a minute.
Come on, open them for us.
Vanessa, the other day, started moving her eyes and following objects, and we're excited about some of these first things she does.
Yeah, they say sometimes when they're smiling and nothing's happening that an angel kissed them. But we know what happened. She's spilling her britches. But we still think it's cute. Maybe an angel is kissing her. Come on. Come on.
She's a good little girl.
Have a little smile for us. Open those eyes. Open those eyes.
Vanessa
Open those eyes.
we left the church in about next month. We're going to go up to Idaho. She's got home in Blackfoot. She got a cute little gown, a little dress to be blessed in. It's all white.
That's your basket. Have they seen the basket? Hold the basket up.
We got just out of shower. Little pink basket.
Vanessa loves it. Come on, get in first. Come on, Grandpa. She had a little cute smile on her face.
She got lots of cute things at her
And hold on to
shower.
your rattle. Say, look, I am already coordinated. I'm a developing
Daddy's not
child.
what she is.
There.
Aw.
She shakes it sometimes when she's mad. But she's not mad enough right now. Okay, Daddy's had his fun now. We can end the camera. We can end the filming.
Can we say bye-bye
We'll
now?
see you guys in a couple months.
Bye-bye. Say we love you.
Now,
Here's my little baby girl. Almost 9 months old now. We're on our way to Lava Hot Springs. We're going to go swimming. We're going to take her with us. Back in Blackfoot for a period of time. We were going to school and graduated April 22nd. We're going to stay in Provo for the summer, but came home for a little break. There's Dad shooting the picture. The other night Andrea was sick, or Vanessa was sick, and she had a temperature of 104 and a half. She got better, and so last night again or the night before last she was also, but the last night she was a lot better. Anyway, we're going to take some pictures over at Lava Hot Springs today, and hopefully it'll be kind of fun. Today is May 2nd, and we have some film on another roll of when she's 4 months old, and we'll just put that on as soon as we can onto this tape, so the chronology of it will be a little off, but hopefully the quality won't. And it's going. Here is our precious little girl, the back of her head and her little bird hair.
Look at your babe. This is her new bathing suit.
Oh, isn't that
pretty?
lovely?
Got all the wild hearts on it. What a sweet little girl. You're gonna drive all the baby boys wild, Nip.
She says, I don't know, this looks pretty funky. How come you got hearts?
'Cause you like to win hearts.
Vanessa.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yes,
Say
she's sweet.
hi, everybody.
You're
I'm a cute girl.
sweetheart.
I'm a cute girl. What a sweetheart.
There's your lovely mother.
No, don't get me.
Look
No.
at Andy, look. What are you gonna do with that swimming suit? You gonna get in the water? I'll bet you'd be scared. Yeah, I bet
No,
you'd be
I
scared.
love to splash in the water.
How much was this, Mom? You paid too much for these hearts.
Oh, you're gonna be so cute. You're gonna be a doll, baby, with a little heart.
Vanessa, hi. Here we are in Lava Hot Springs. And there's the new fashionable bathing suit of the year. It's not too bad, and I thought it was gonna be a little colder than this. There's Mom. Say hi, Mom. There's the new fast show your face.
Okay, stop. Yeah. Are you enjoying it outside?
See, that was really nice, Mom.
It's not too bad.
No, it's not bad. Here, lift Vanessa up and let's see her.
She got a new baby suit. Let's show it off.
Hi. Hi. Here, put her on the ground and let her walk to me. Walk, Vanessa.
Let's get it.
Is that one better?
Yeah, but it's hot.
Come on down here.
Look what it did. Look at that.
I think she loves it. She's too fascinated with water to do anything. Vanessa!
Look at that.
Vanessa, what are you doing?
Here we are at Lava Hot Springs. Vanessa's first visit here. Might be her last.
She looks so cute. She loves the water.
Like the fun. Stop.
They say this is the right time for them to learn how to swim.
Not in hot water.
Vanessa, look at me, you little squirt.
Look cute in your little baby suit. Whee! You want to swim?
She's having so much fun.
Stand up. Yeah. She's walking. Oh, she's having fun at Lava Hut Springs. Oh my, what a big girl.
She's the little prince of lava.
Okay, Dan, we want you to come in. Hi, Vanessa. Are you having fun?
She's gonna be soaked before this thing's over.
Oh, she's having a good time here at Lava.
Hi, Mom.
Hi,
How are you?
Vanessa. How are you?
She's so cute in her little swimming suit.
Swing her smile, Nessa. Hi, Nessa, give a smile. Okay, stop pushing it.
Just push it again.
Huh?
Push it again.
Push record again?
Yeah.
Why?
It'll quit. It's going.
And here's Grandma. She came with us today. She bought Vanessa this little cute bathing suit. Oh, there's a close-up of Vanessa and Grandma. She's sticking her tongue out.
Give us a smile. Come on. Give us a smile.
Oh, she's having fun.
What?
She's having a good time.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
she got too wet.
Hi, Dad. You can very color.
Bring her right over here. Vanessa. Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa.
Vanessa, cookie dip. Yeah, I'm having a good old time here at last. Like my new suit, you guys? Well, put me back in the water, Mom.
She's so intrigued that I don't think she smiles much. She just keeps looking at the water and can't believe it's true.
She's interested in the water.
Let her splash in the glue.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Vanessa. Vanessa. Hey, what are you doing in that water, huh?
Having fun.
Here's the town of Lava. Mountains.
I don't think she should be in anymore.
Okay.
I don't know that how I'm getting all the way to here.
Let her just play there in it. She's cute. Let her play there in the water. She's cute.
If you'll get the camera off me, I'll get out.
This is that. Grandma wants to get out.
Yes, and I'm not going to get out with the camera. You got it?
Here we are.
Hi, Vanessa. Who you got? E.T.? E.T. fun, Mom? Wave at it, girl. Wave at the camera. Wave. Your hair looks really cute. Oh my goodness, you're a joke. Say good morning, world. It's me in the morning. I'm being an angel right now, but a while ago I was being a little scammer. Walk around in your walker. Show us how you can get around in your walker. Come on. Okay, sing us a song instead. Sing. Come on. Say mama. Mama.
Mama. Okay, well, say Mama.
They got their tape.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna bring it.
Okay.
Make sure you put it on.
Mm.
Is it good? So you're going to eat, huh? Are you having fun with E.T.?
Oh, do you want to see Daddy? Huh? Do you want to see Daddy? Oh, sweetie. Sweetie.
Is it on?
What's happening? He's dead. Vanessa? Vanessa? What's it dead?
Mama. Mama.
Mom, 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 mom. Mom, 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 mom. Come here. Hi, everybody. Come here. Those are plants.
Vanessa. Vanessa.
Says I want to pick the plants. Hey, let's go get Dad. Come on. Get Dad. Go get him.
Go slower.
Oh, there's twigs in our way. Come on. Walk up the hill. Oh. Oh, she's gonna get upset, everybody. Okay, let's go to the dog. Dog. Vanessa's singing.
See, you can put it on a swing.
Okay, let's go. Down on the swing. I don't think she likes the swing. Not old enough. How about the tree? Look at Vanessa in the tree. Wave. Wave.
Hi. Hey, Vanessa.
Say hi to Daddy.
Nessa.
Because where am I?
Hi, Nessa.
Hi, Ness. Wave. Oh, boy.
Stand her up in it. So it should be facing me.
I have to hold her.
No, you know, she can lean up against it.
Vanessa. Hi, Ness. Here's Ness in the inner tube. Says I want to go to the beach. Stay in the inner tube. This one's too big for me, though. You guys got any baby inner tubes? Ba, 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 ba. Talk to us. Say mama. Dada. Fall backwards. Oh, what?
So you can get her to smile.
Can you smile for us? Smile. Smile. Nope, I want to be independent. Okay, Dad. That's enough.
Hi, Vanessa.
We're going to show all the tricks we know how to do.
What a pretty girl.
It is. You know what else she likes?
What?
She likes this.
Oh boy, do you like that up there, Ned? Is that fun?
She's smiling.
Yes, she's playing with your hair. Oh boy. Is that fun? Here she comes. Here she comes.
Kitty. Kitty.
Ooh.
Okay, what else do you like? I know she likes dancing. Just a minute, we'll let you play the ground in a minute. First you gotta play for your mom and dad. Good dance.
What a good dancer. Oh. You gonna be on the ballroom dance team?
That's for my last trick, Mom. Oh, Mom's gonna get you.
Hi, sweetie. Get her. What a pretty girl. Wave to the camera.
For our last trick, we're gonna go into the air. We're gonna... You like that, huh?
Oh, boy.
That's a big girl. That's a big girl.
Do it again.
This time it's a little cry and it's loud.
Oh, what a
we
tease.
love her. We love her so much. Okay, on the ground. Get her for a minute picking up leaves.
Oh, are you sad today? Narrate for her, honey. Make her say.
Here, Carney.
Hi, Ness.
What's the matter? Life hard? Oh, she says, I just got my checkup and I'm 28 inches tall. And that's
How much do you weigh, Vanessa?
18 pounds, 7 ounces.
Oh, that's a big girl.
I'm in the 60th percentile in height.
What's that?
And I also got one of the best running noses in town.
Let's get a close-up of that runny nose. Your
Hey.
dad sure is handsome.
I had a temperature of 104. She didn't like it.
Hi, Dad.
Hi. Is this boring for everyone but our family? It's gonna
Okay,
be-
you kids that are watching that, our kids, this is, you're probably looking back and laughing at your older sister being a baby.
Preston, one of these days you're going to be on this thing, so don't laugh.
Yeah, we'll show your girlfriends these pictures of you. See, Mom and Dad looked young. We were once cute. Oh, Vanessa, you're a doll. Oh, dance, dance, dance. Dance, dance, dance.
Jeez, you guys are really rugged today. Oh, should I look at
7.5 minutes remaining, first period. Knocked away by Jamal Wilkes. Behind for Madden.
Morning, Keebler. What's up?
We're making Rich and Chips cookies.
Who's that?
That's Edison Keebler on his Rich mixer, making the dough extra rich.
Pretty clever.
First, we make sure the cookie dough is deliciously rich. Then we add lots of rich chocolatey chips. So you get a rich cookie and rich chips.
Really rich. Does Edison have a clever invention for putting the chips in, too?
No, sir, but he's working on it.
Rich cookie, rich chips. That's Keebler Rich and Chips.
Great moments on 3 tonight begin with events of the day on News 3 at 10 with Carol Donegan, Bryce Ridealch, and Steve Cannon. Then at 10:35, it's Barney Miller.
No. That's what I really like about you guys. I mean, you're a very tight group, very funny. Social business.
And at 11:05, the CBS Late Movies on 3.
I'm 17. I'm on the drill team in my school, and I'm on the yearbook staff. I'm also an alcoholic and drug user. Don't be surprised. I had some really good teachers. My parents. Mom uses tranquilizers to mellow out, and Dad drinks, just to relax, of course. I watched, and I learned, and I combined the worst of both worlds. My best friend thinks I need some help. Maybe she's right.
Get the straight facts. Problem drinking can be helped. Call your nearest help center, and please, do it right now.
That's me, Lisa Parker. We had a lot of fun making that commercial. And you know, I really do drink Tab. And if you do too, here's some beautiful news. New caffeine-free Tab. It's as Tab can be. And absolutely caffeine-free. You're going caffeine-free. This is the taste for you. Tab and new caffeine-free Tab. They're both beautiful.
You're all together, one big happy family. Keep it that way. If you have high blood pressure, make sure you see your doctor regularly and follow the treatment he prescribes. Take your high blood pressure pills every day. Watch your weight and cut down on salt. Controlling your high blood pressure can prevent stroke and heart disease. It's a good life. Keep on living it.
Do it for yourself and all the loved ones in your life.
High blood pressure, treated for life.
This is KIFI TV8, Idaho Falls, Pocatello, Blackfoot.
I'm Tom Brokaw, NBC News, New York.
I'm Roger Mudd, NBC News, Washington.
It's a mess in wide areas of Nevada and Utah tonight. Floods and mudslides have wrecked homes, covered highways, and torn up businesses. And it's not over yet. We have two reports beginning with Don Oliver in Utah.
Utah officials were worried about many flooding streams and rivers, but Rudd Creek at Farmington was not high on the list. Then with a roar, a gigantic mudslide swept from the snow level 1.5 miles down the canyon and sent an 8-foot wall of mud into the town. At least 30 homes in its path were damaged, 6 of them destroyed. Others were left twisted on their foundations. Cars were turned over and buried. But after an accounting at an evacuation center, it was determined no one was killed, injured, or missing. By midday, the mudslide had stopped its slow movement, but surges of water continued from the slide area. Federal officials believe there could be 1 or maybe 2 more layers of soggy earth that could peel off and come sliding down the canyon at any time. A third of the town remains evacuated as lawmen continue to eye the mudslide nervously. In Salt Lake City, Big Cottonwood Creek was eating through roads, flooding expensive neighborhoods, and forcing the evacuation of 200 people from a mobile home park. Still farther south, another mudslide blocked a highway and partially dammed a flooding creek. The town of Fairview was vacant for a time. The 1,000 residents were ordered out overnight, but allowed to return today. The forecast of heavy rain tonight in northern Utah is not good news for those trying to control the flooding. Don Oliver, NBC News, Salt Lake City.
In Nevada, on the east side of the Sierra Nevada, the cleanup is just beginning. Slide Mountain lived up to its name yesterday, sending a 15-foot wall of mud and water into the Washoe Valley. 1 person was killed, 5 injured. Some families were separated when they ran for shelter. The slide swallowed 9 cars and destroyed 4 houses. Residents returned today to survey the damage. Most don't know yet whether insurance will cover it.
I was washing dishes and looked out the window, and there it came. Mud, boulders, tree trunks. At first I thought
5,
it was-
it's Barney Miller.
No. That's what I really like about you guys. I mean, you're a very tight group, very funny. Is this a socialism?
And at 11:05, the CBS Late Movies on 3.
Recreation turned into adventure. The stuff of many of this season's Pacific Outdoors episodes. Tune in and find out how far and how safe these action sports have become. For excitement from the Pacific to the plains, watch Pacific Outdoors each weekend.
Sundays at 4 on 3.
The CBS Tuesday Night Movie will not be presented tonight in order that we might bring you the following CBS Sports special presentation.
Moses Malone and the Philadelphia 76ers are on the outskirts of the promised land. One more victory and all that frustration is over. Philadelphia will finally have won its NBA championship. And the great Julius Erving will finally have his championship ring. The Lakers are counting on pride to avoid a sweep here tonight. But they must solve that savage Philadelphia defense, or the frustrating agony of the last 3 games will continue for Los Angeles. For Billy Cunningham, this could be the biggest night of his coaching career, and he'll do it in Southern California. In Los Angeles is the scene for this, the 4th game of the NBA World Championship. It is only about half full. Keep in mind that it is 6 p.m. here in Los Angeles. It could be either A, late arriving crowd, or B, an audience that may be ready to run up the white flag. We'll have to wait and see. When this series began, we were saying that the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers could become the first team in 13 years to win back-to-back titles. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers have reduced everyone to saying that the Lakers must become the first team in history ever to come back from an 0-3 deficit. The 76ers have been brilliant throughout this series, and now the Lakers are in full retreat, and they are beaten up. There is a big injury question. Dick Stockton has been looking into that, so let's go to Dick now.
All right, Brent, Norm Nixon told me when he came out to the warm-up that he will not play in tonight's game. He is the Laker point guard, and he has been a spark outside shooting threat, but not so much in this series. On top of that, Bob McAdoo is going to test his injured thigh during warm-up, and he may not play. The Lakers were undermanned when we started this whole thing, and they really have their backs to the wall, and as Norm Nixon says, we're actually a few inches into the wall. Billy Cunningham, on the other hand, was asked how important it is to win this game. He says, I want to win this championship in 4 so that people will really remember us. The question is, people will remember Philadelphia whether they win this game or not. They are that good. But let me go to an expert, a man who knows about great teams, Bill Russell. Where do you place the Philadelphia 76ers in the annals of the top teams in NBA history?
The way they're playing now in the playoffs, they are one of the better teams to ever play the game of basketball. I have never seen a better defensive team throughout the lineup, and the way they play together as this team from Philadelphia.
So in other words, you're talking about that 67 Philadelphia team and some of your Celtic clubs.
Right. They would be able to play very competitively and maybe beat most of those clubs because they are a great defensive ball club.
That's quite a testimonial. I want to ask you about one player, Moses Malone. We've been focusing on him ever since the championship series started and the playoffs before that. You were a center. Where does he rank in some of the great centers of the game?
I think he's a great center. I'll tell you the reason I say that he's a great center. He made the move from Houston to Philadelphia, and neither he nor the 76ers had to make any great adjustments. He went from one system to the other, playing a completely different game, but just as effective. And the most important thing is the way he plays, he brings out the best in his teammates.
All right, Bill, right now let's go back upstairs to Brent.
All right, Dick, thank you. There is a player on the 76ers who is closing in on that first NBA ring. He's with Pat O'Brien. Let's go to Pat.
Thank you very much, Brent. Julius, there's a tendency, I think, to be up 3-0, to be overconfident, or maybe even let down. How does this team feel tonight?
We feel like we're down 3-0, and all their guys are 110%.
Billy Cunningham said that you were going to see real intensity tonight. What does that mean?
We have to play our best game. We want to play our best game of the series, best game of the playoffs tonight.
How antsy are you, Julius, to get that ring?
Well, I'm just ready to go and win this game. You know, if the ring comes with it, so be it.
Okay, good luck tonight, Julius. Dr. J, let's go back to Brent Musburger.
All right, Pat, thank you. And again with us, the coach of the Atlanta Hawks, Kevin Lockery. Kevin, this could be a very interesting night for the Lakers. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar becomes a free agent at the conclusion of this season, which could be tonight. Speculation that Jerry Buss might not sign him. What do you think about that?
I think the Lakers will sign Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He led them to the championship last year. They're in the finals this season. He's a great player. He's 36, but he's in great condition. They can't afford to let the second best center in the league go and come in with the 15th or 20th best center. It won't be the same team.
All right, Kevin, thank you. There was an unhappy note in sports earlier today when we learned that former heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey had died at the age of 87. Dempsey became heavyweight champion of the world in 1919 when he knocked out Jess Willard. 7 years later, he surrendered that championship to Gene Tunney. But there are many who still feel that Jack Dempsey was the greatest heavyweight champion of them all. And tonight he is dead at the age of 87.
The NBA on CBS. Tonight's championship game is sponsored by Honda Motorcycles. Honda, follow the leader. Miller High Life. Welcome to Miller time. Foamy, the shave cream that's more than thick and rich enough for a clean, close shave. And by General Motors. We're living up to the General Motors mark of excellence.
Change velocity ratio. Change data.
When General Motors talks about fuel economy, it isn't just a lot of wind. Although wind is involved, aerodynamics are tested here in 50-mile-an-hour winds because less wind resistance means more miles per gallon. This has helped GM double fuel economy since 1974.
That's a fact, and not just a lot of wind.
We're living up to our commitment. Right now, today, we're the best GM ever.
How can a guy 5'9" have an unfair advantage over these guys? I use the Gillette Atra razor. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra is better than twin-blade razors that don't pivot. See? They don't always stay in my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. So I get a better shave, close, comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
Sometimes a little advantage goes a long way.
We're back, and here are the starting lineups for tonight's game with one change. First of all, Julius Erving, who you just saw with Pat O'Brien and Jamal Wilkes at one forward position. Mark Ivaroni and Kurt Rambis at power forward. The centers, Moses Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In the backcourt, Andrew Toney and Magic Johnson. And the change for the Lakers, Michael Cooper starting in place of Norm Nixon and Maurice Cheeks, the point guard for the Sixers. Earl Strom and Hugh Evans are the working officials. The alternate is Jess Kersey. We're underway in a moment for game number 4 of our best of 7 with the 76ers trying to become the 4th team to win the championship in 4 straight games. And we'll have a jump between Ivaroni and Cooper. Michael Cooper, who has come off the bench. When Magic Johnson was hurt 2 years ago, Cooper was prominent in a starting role, but basically he has come off the bench as primarily a defensive performer. Philadelphia ball. Norm Nixon with a strained tendon in his left knee. Of all the ailments he has, that's the one that has really put him on the shelf. He has a dislocated shoulder. Andrew Toney hits from the baseline and also a cut, which he suffered in game number 3. Magic Johnson, who has been bottled up by Philadelphia. Cooper loops it in. Rambis wasn't there, and the turnover gives it to Philadelphia. If the 76ers win, they will establish with a 12-1 mark the best playoff percentage ever in the NBA.
That's pretty near perfect, Dave.
Can't do much better than that. Their one loss to the Milwaukee Bucks after they had moved in front 3-0 against that team in the Eastern semifinal. Andrew Toney tipped out by Magic Johnson to Cooper. Cooper is quick. Rambis throws it away. So the Lakers are off to a shady start in this game.
Well, it's not a real bad start out. I was worried about them the last game because they started so strong. They seem to be at the right emotional level to start this game because everybody's a little nervous to start a game, especially a game that's important.
Cooper is going to be guarding Maurice Cheeks. Magic Johnson on the doctor, and Malone. Rambis the rebound.
This will be the hardest game for the Sixers to play this year.
Basket counts and a foul, and one of the few times we've been able to see Magic Johnson go practically the length of the floor with one of his forays.
And the reason this game will be so difficult is how do you play it? You want to win it, You don't have to, but you want to. And you want to very badly. And so how do you play it? Do you, how much patience do you exhibit? When do you start to worry?
The personal foul was on Andrew Toney, and the Lakers lead 3-2. The trapping defense by the Lakers. Malone doubled by Rambis and Kareem. Ivoroni has 7 seconds on the shot clock. They have 24 seconds to try a shot. And here come the Lakers. Magic finds Wilkes, who loses it out of bounds. Philadelphia ball. Pat Riley, who is fined $3,000 by the league for his remarks in the officiating in game number 2. Malone can't do it, and Ivoroni gets the offensive rebound, and he's fouled. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the headlines, as Brent and Kevin talked about, could this be his last game in Los Angeles? And all I want to know is, what would the Lakers do without a center like Kareem?
They might have a couple of problems. A couple of large problems. You know that thing about Pat Riley being fined $3,000? I wonder if in his remarks did he tell any lies?
Foul was on Kareem and Ivoroni. Lakers have turned the ball over 3 times. He missed them both. Lakers are the defending world champions. Philadelphia has been to the finals 4 times in the last 7 years and have come up empty until now. Off of Rambis, and a 4th turnover by Philadelphia, and we've completed just 2 minutes of this game. By the Lakers. Lakers have turned it over 4 times. James Worthy, the fine rookie, out with a broken leg. McAdoo is hurt. Nixon is hurt. Julius Malone, the offensive rebound. And that's what he does best. Irving is on Jamal Wilkes, and he has done a super job on Wilkes defensively in this series. From the corner, Irving over Wilkes gets the rebound, and the lead pass intercepted by Cooper. Magic all the way. And Moses Malone has it slapped away, and a loose ball foul will be called against the Lakers.
Good enough about Magic Johnson. It's obvious to me that these Lakers are ready to play this game.
Nobody wants to be swept. Ever. In anything. Personal was on Magic. 2 team fouls against the Lakers. Magic is on Julius Irving. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Ivoroni way off balance. But has it again in the corner and a new clock. Andrew Toney working against Wilkes. Traveling called against Andrew. Andrew Toney back on the fence, and Jamal Wilkes beats the Sixers down the court, and the basket is good. And a foul as well. The Lakers haven't seen enough of this kind of play in this series to suit them, Bill.
Well, I think that one of the things that here's a pass from Magic. He gets the ball, and he always looking up court, and there's Jamal Wilkes free, because if you're free, Magic can get the ball to you. I think one of the reasons that Jamal has not been as effective in this is that he's been playing defensive guard, and to run the offense from there is very difficult. It's a real drastic change.
And he's guarding Andrew Toney, an explosive scorer who has scored very well, although nothing like the way we have seen him in the past. He once scored 46 against this Laker team. Maurice Cheeks from the baseline. Maurice Cheeks, the point guard, has set the tempo and one of the top scorers for Philadelphia. And Kareem comes back with his first basket decisively. Our 5th tie of the game right here. Broken 7-6. And it goes back to 8-7. We have had 6 lead changes, and Philadelphia, as the tempo speeds up, still has the ball.
This has been the most wide open game so far that these 2 teams have played so far, and they're both playing good defense, but they're both running and getting that ball up and down court.
You saw Billy Cunningham, the Philadelphia coach, who was weary and tired, but proud of his ball club. And talking to him before the game, he did not act as if his team had a 3-0 lead. I guess when you're a coach, you always worry.
You have to. And you know what's really funny? You see a guy age years winning. And because this is a tough profession. Now, he's got his ball club. They won, only lost one game, and they're still nervous.
We've had 6 lead changes, and the Lakers will try to make it 7 right here. Michael Cooper has it knocked away, and Rambis with a fake on Malone, gets Malone in the air, and gives the Lakers the lead once more. Back and forth we go. We have 7.5 minutes remaining in the first period. Cooper, Cheeks gets away. Now Michael is all over Julius Erving. Rambis went right at Malone. And we'll have a Laker foul as Clement Johnson comes into the ball game for Philadelphia. He is the backup center and power forward who returned in game 3 after missing a game with a urinary tract infection. And Mark Ivoroni, the free agent rookie from Virginia, goes to the bench. Foul is on Rambis as he really went at it. Malone, his first personal foul. Done to perfection by Tony and Julius Erving, and lead change number 8 in this first period. Nearly 5 minutes gone by. Dick Stockton and Bill Russell from the Foreman Inglewood. Rambis finds the room, and Malone blocks the shot. Philadelphia ball.
When the defense breaks down, it's nice to have a guy who can block the shot. Now here's Julius High, gets that alley-oop shot. He's working magic. Now, let's see, he's got there. Now he's got him. That's what you call playing without the ball.
6:55 remaining first period. The Sixers lead at 10-9 in a tight game. We're in game 4 of the championship.
All right, we're up 15. We got this game won.
Yeah, you guys are buying a light beer from Miller. Yeah, nice Philly.
One out to go. Yeah, what can he do to us now?
Hey, keep the change. Here's Rodney! Any pinch hitters left? Here I am. Come on,
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hey, wait a minute. This game isn't over yet. I caught that ball.
Daytona, the superbike race. For the second straight year, it belongs to Honda. And the Supercross, Honda's as well. The B45 Interceptor and the 250 Motocrosser. First, second, third on the track. First, second, and third in the dirt. When it comes to high performance, Honda delivers. The proof's all there in black and white.
Sunday, the world's top drivers must navigate their Formula One cars through the perilous hairpin turns of the Detroit Grand Prix. Sunday on CBS Sports.
Philadelphia leading Los Angeles 10-9, 6:55 to go in the first period.
Now, here's what I mean by wide open game. Maddox, this is something that he's not been able to do very much in the series so far, is run that ball up and get those kind of shots off for their team. They shoot a very high percentage when he can run the ball up, but Philadelphia has challenged him in most cases, so they've slowed the Laker offense down.
Shooting story, the lead has changed hands in each of the last 8 baskets in this game. Right now, Philadelphia has the ball and the lead. Maurice Cheeks to Andrew Toney. Julius Erving wants the ball inside against Magic. Doubled with Cooper, and Magic knocks the ball away. Picked up by Toney. 2 seconds on the shot clock. And now they're going to say that they had to reset the 24-second clock, which they did not. And there were 2 seconds left when Toney picked up the ball, and Earl Strom noticed they did not reset the 24-second clock. So now we have a new clock, and Clement Johnson will inbound for Philadelphia. Sixers trying to become the second team in a decade to win a title with the best record, and Julius Erving seems like a man possessed off the early start. He has 4 points. This is the biggest lead of the game for either side, 3 points, but the Sixers foul. And Andrew Toney is hit with his second personal foul.
Now here's that play by Julius. If he had tried to shoot that instead of dunking it, Kareem might have blocked it.
Clint Richardson has come in the game. He has been a defensive force coming off the bench in this series. Kareem inside against Malone. That's normally where Malone gets the ball against Kareem, and there's nothing that anyone can do about that.
But one thing about Malone, you know he's not going to get tired, and he'll be there the last quarter doing the same thing.
Clement Johnson finds an opening. And the former Florida A&M performer.
Now here's that pressure on Magic Johnson coming to bring the ball up. Clint Richardson puts in full court.
Magic gets it inside. 3 red shirts around, and it was Clement Johnson, Malone, and Julius Erving.
A whole group of them.
Malone blocked the shot, and goaltending will be called, and Julius Erving will get credit for the basket.
Now Magic wants to know why his wasn't goaltending.
Because it wasn't. Those 2 plays weren't even close. So the Sixers have opened up a 5-point lead. Jamal Wilkes. Jamal Wilkes was hitting 53% during the season. He's 46% during this series. Magic Johnson's shooting is down. And Norm Nixon, who's hurt, also has been down. Malone gets his own rebound. And gets the foul? No. It's offense against Moses, who slams the ball down in disgust. So Moses Malone picks up his first personal foul, and Bobby Jones comes into the ball game for Philadelphia. Julius Erving goes out. Philadelphia off to an early lead in rebounding. In all of the 3 games, the Lakers have led at the half and also had the rebounding edge on Philadelphia. That, of course, until the second half.
Another good defensive play. Now, that was Moses' quickness on that. That was a pretty good pass.
Clint Richardson throws up a wild air ball, and it's L.A. possession.
But obviously, they misjudged his speed or quickness because he's much quicker than most people think because of his size.
Under 5 minutes to go, first period. Dick Stockton and Bill Russell here at the Forum in Los Angeles. 3 games to none. The Sixers lead the Lakers. Jones is all over Jamal Wilkes. And fine defense by Bobby Jones. Clement Johnson with the rebound. Cheeks has Rambis on him.
They think it's a mismatch because Magic is trying to guard Malone.
He takes advantage of it. They found him. That's one thing the Lakers haven't done, is taken advantage of an open man when they've had a man free inside. Philadelphia has, as they did there. Sixers have run off 6 straight points and lead by 7, and that's broken with Kareem's mini skyhook. Crowd is still arriving, but most of the seats, practically all of the seats, are filled right now. Cheeks against Cooper. Offensive foul.
That was a good call because Michael Cooper was retreating. See, if you give ground and there's contact, although you are moving.
Mike McGee, who you can see has played sparingly in the playoffs and did not play all that much during the regular season, has come into the game, replacing Jamal Wilkes. So Pat Riley forced to go deep to his bench. Brings in Mike McGee, who was the #1 draft pick last year out of Michigan. Clement Johnson blocks Julius Erving's attempt. McGee was a prolific scorer at the University of Michigan, and at the time he joined the Lakers was the top all-time Big Ten scorer. But he has been somewhat of a disappointment here. Kareem with another hook. His second in a row, and the Lakers come within 3. 4 for 4 for Kareem. He has 8 points in the game.
This has turned out to be quite a defensive game, although it's wide open. It's still real good defense, especially on the full-court game.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Clement Johnson working against Kareem. It's another one. So we're seeing Clement Johnson's offense here. He already has 4 points, more than he's averaged in this series. Into Kareem, low. Kareem's getting it in good position. Malone knocked it away into Clint Richardson's hand. Malone against Magic. And it's a Los Angeles ball with 3:01 remaining in the first quarter. Johnson with Clint Richardson. Gambling his cheeks. Good pass to Randall. Magic with a fine assist.
Now, Magic is forcing that ball up under pressure, and this is keeping the Lakers in the ball game, is that they're fighting to keep control of the tempo.
And the Sixers have called a timeout. Billy Cunningham wants to wrap it up. Kareem and Moses, the two dominant centers.
Now, there's something you see is a sky hook, but you don't see how, most of the time, how a guy gets it. Now, he has to fight and fight. Now, there's a attempted layup and got it blocked. But the key to is the offensive position.
And Moses has 3 blocked shots so far.
You're looking at a new design that puts style and technology in total harmony. It's America's all-new aerodynamic sedan.
Pick up the tempo of your life.
The 84 Ford Tempo. New functional ideas led to Tempo's sporty form, making it one of America's most aerodynamic sedans. Inside, there's more rear room than a Mercedes 300D. And Tempo has the world's most advanced automotive computer, which continually monitors the new 2300 high-swirl combustion engine. This computerized regulation helps maximize fuel efficiency and helps give a surprisingly quick power response. There's road gripping front-wheel drive and dedication to quality, like close body fit tolerances that you can compare with any European sports sedan. Tempo, style and technology in total harmony.
Pick up the tempo of your life and be driven aboard. Great.
Given a choice between learning computing and playing video games, which do you think a kid would choose? Exactly. That's why Gore-Tech, a new learning game, was created exclusively for Commodore home computers. As kids play Gore-Tech, they're really finding their way around a computer keyboard and mastering basic computer programming. So before you buy a computer for your kids to learn on, make sure it's one they'll want to learn on. One that plays Gore-Tech and other painless learning games. The Commodore VIC-20.
We're live at the Forum in Inglewood on CBS, the home of the NBA World Championship, where the Sixers lead 3-0 over the Lakers in the World Championship Series. And a fine ovation during the timeout for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Lakers' leading scorer in the playoffs and the series. He has just passed Wilt Chamberlain to move into 4th place on the all-time NBA playoff scoring chart.
That's a lot of points.
And he's second to Wilt in the all-time NBA scoring. Landsberger has come in, number 54 for the Lakers, so they will have Landsberger and Michael Cooper up front with Magic Johnson and Mike McGee in the backcourt with Kareem. Philadelphia has out-rebounded the Lakers 12-4, including 4-0 off the offensive board. Lemon Johnson has had a hot hand so far. This is that time. Julius Erving keeps it alive to Bobby Jones.
Now the Lakers can match the Sixers in quickness, but in picking up that quickness, they've lost a little edge in rebounding.
Tipped by Kareem into the hands of Magic. Clint Richardson on defense. Mike McGee guarded by Maurice Cheeks. And a foul called against Philadelphia. It'll be the 14th foul against the Sixers. Moses Malone on the bench for the first time in the game with 4 points. Julius Erving commits his second personal foul in the game, so Tony and Erving each have 2 fouls. And Mark Ivaroni quickly checks back in, replacing Julius.
As I said earlier, Dick, this is a very difficult game for the Sixers to play. Because you're halfway between. You know you should win it, but you got to be careful how you do it.
Kareem hit. He was surrounded by red Philadelphia jerseys and will go to the line. That's the 15th foul against the 76ers, and Mark Ivaroni his first personal. So Kareem will go to the line. He's doing everything he can, and before game 3, Pat Riley said, I need at least 10 rebounds from Kareem, who had 4 in each of the first 2 games. And Kareem responded with 15 rebounds to do what Riley wanted him to do, so you can't really fault Kareem. He just happens to be going up against the super center in Malone. Tony back.
Well, you know that the 76ers are the #1 rebounding team in the NBA this year. And so they're going to, in most games, out-rebound the other team, no matter how much of effort you put in. Because Moses is not the only one on that team that's a good rebounder.
20-19, Philadelphia leading under 2 minutes to go first period. Mike McGee is guarding Andrew Toney. Loses his footing. Landsberger's on Ivaroni, and Clint Richardson gets by Michael Cooper inside. Biggest lead Philadelphia was 5 points. Been hovering around the 3-point mark.
Almost a great pass. Good idea by Kareem.
Minute and a half. Lakers have 3 team fouls. They have 1 foul that they can waste before they get into the penalty. Andrew Toney. Clement Johnson crashes the offensive boards, but Magic Johnson comes around. Looking for some opening. Bobby Jones. And Magic goes in and draws the foul. Jones was all over Magic Johnson, and finally he says, the heck with this. I'm just going to go to the hoop.
Well, that's one of the, as the game unfolds, you'll see more and more things that Magic can do, because these great players, a lot of things they do are very subtle, are the things that they're capable of. You don't see very often, so you don't know that they're capable of them. But he can go to the basket, he can make the outside shot, besides being a great passer.
Personal foul was on Ivaroni, his second. Magic has 4 points. He has been stymied till this game by the Sixers defense. He's the Lakers' top rebounder, but he has not had 10 assists or 10 rebounds in any one game.
Well, that's one of the guys that the Sixers key their defense on, in that he controls the tempo, and so they've been really attacking him to try to get control of the tempo.
Ivaroni and the Sixers passed well in that segment.
They're a great passing team too. That's one of the things that makes them so good. Not only they're quick, but they can all pass, and they really execute their plays well.
Mike McGee hesitant to shoot. Cooper. Ivaroni. Bobby Jones had beaten everyone down court, but Ivaroni thought better of it. Toney has it with 33 seconds to go in the first period. Throws it away.
The Lakers are playing pretty good defense because they have a very quick team out there now.
22 on the shot clock. Bobby Jones on Cooper. Clint Richardson picks up Magic, and another foul on Philadelphia, and the Lakers will go to the line.
Now, I think what they're going to have to do, Mike McGee is a great shooter.
He's going to have to shoot.
Yes, and he's out there, and he's so nervous. That's the last thing in the world he's thinking about is shooting the ball. He just want to get it, get rid of it so he doesn't hurt anything, you know. But he's got to go ahead and assert himself and take those open shots.
What does Pat Riley want to get from Mike McGee?
Well, he wants him to, while he's out there, play good defense and hold the fort. Don't make a lot of turnovers. Don't get burned too bad defensively. And if you got an open shot, put it in.
1 point lead for Philadelphia. And the Sixers playing for the last shot of the period. Kareem has 12 points, far and away the leading scorer of this period. Julius has 6 of the 7 men who have scored. Wild shot, 5 seconds to go. Cooper looks up at the clock and pulls up for the shot. A three-pointer. We got a long way to go in this game. 1 period is history, but the Lakers have taken the lead on this 3-point shot by Michael Cooper.
That's a good way to end the quarter. Now to see how these guys will play after the newness of the game wears off.
LA 26, Philly 24 will return to the Forum after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Coors to you. The clean of it, Coors to you. The fresh of it, Coors to you. The best of it, the best of the Rockies is yours.
The clean of the Rockies, the fresh of the Rockies. Brewed the Coors way, natural and pure.
Coors to you. The clean of it all night through. The fresh of it, Rocky Mountains, oh, you got it. The best of the Rockies is yours.
Quincy takes on a neighborhood crime patrol that's adding dynamite to the fire.
If you can't protect us, then we're going to protect ourselves.
It's a burning fuse when good guys take the law into their own hands on
Quincy. Then, a handsome playboy wants a romance with Sally. Is she game or a sitting target?
You checked on me, Mac.
He's gonna kill her. Could Mac be losing his grip on Sally? Find out on Macmillan and Wife.
Dan Issel's family likes playing basketball almost as much as he does. Through Special Olympics, they're helping the families of mentally handicapped children teach basketball to their kids. Together, they're experiencing the joy of sports.
Families helping families. That's the spirit of Special Olympics.
Hey, no fair. I was talking. So help a special person you know join the Special Olympics family. A public service announcement of the NBA.
Michael Cooper's three-pointer puts the Lakers up by 2 as we start the second period. And Kevin Lockery, the Lakers always seem to play well early in this series.
It's the same type game, Brent, in the first period. Philly's killing them on the boards. But one big difference, 3 of the stars for Philadelphia already have 2 fouls.
All right, let's go back now to Dick and Bill Russell.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. We saw L.A. turn the ball over a lot in the first 2 minutes, but since then, Philadelphia has coughed it up 7 times, leading to 10 Los Angeles points. So that kind of evened itself out as we start the second period. Mike McGee in his second year from Michigan, number 40, along with Magic Johnson, Michael Cooper at forward with Mark Landsberger and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kevin mentioned the rebounding story still favors Philadelphia. Magic. McGee. And 2 great opportunities for the Lakers. They come up north. Sixers with a chance to tie. McGee is on Tony, who's playing with 2 fouls. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Bobby Jones with a screen from Malone.
And a great shot, a running left-hander.
Bobby Jones, other than Moses, may be the key performer in this series for Philadelphia, coming off the bench and doing everything.
And I think Moses may have a lot to do with that.
McGee hits his first outside shot, and that's going to do a whale of good for his confidence.
Now, because he could really cause problems if he makes that shot, because he's a great shooter.
Tony working against Cooper. What a move by Andrew Toney. Went around one of the better defensive players in the league as if he were just standing there.
And he used the basket as a screen on the shot so that Kareem couldn't get to it to try to block it.
Magic Johnson had missed his last 5 shots before he hit that basket. You did the Lakers a lead. They haven't had more than a 2-point lead in this game. Philly was up by 5 in the first period, and Bobby Jones hits his second in a row. So we have another tie. Game 4, best of 7. Dick Stockton and Bill Russell. Lakers trail the Sixers 3 games to none. Philadelphia looking for a sweep to go home to a big parade in the Quaker City. Kareem skyhook, and he has 14 points now. He is the leading scorer in this series for the Lakers, has hit 6 of his first 7 shots from the field. Kareem is on Ivoroni. This is the turnaround. McGee gives it up to Magic. 2 in a row for Magic Johnson. And Julius Erving is going to come back in the game. He has 2 fouls, and he'll be coming back in. And a foul is on Mike McGee of the Lakers. There's the doctor who's looking for that first NBA championship ring. But Andrew Toney put a move on one of the better defensive players, Michael Cooper.
There he goes right to the hoop. Now watch. There's Kareem here. Give him a fake and then use the basket to screen Kareem away from the shot.
Roger, Manhattan. Continue descent to flight level 80.
Roger, Evo. Descending to SL80.
Manhattan, that's correct. Contact radar director on 120.4. Roger, Manhattan. Continue to 2,000 feet, reduce speed to 170 knots.
Every year, British Airways fly more people to more countries than any other airline.
Manhattan is established, leaving 2,000 feet on the glide path.
In fact, every year we bring more people across the Atlantic than the entire population of Manhattan.
Manhattan, you are clear to land. 28 right.
British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
The Philadelphia 76ers can get into the record books with a victory tonight, give them the best playoff record of all time. To no one's surprise, Kareem's 71 Milwaukee team and last year's Laker club also right up there. And Kareem is off to a sizzling start. The 36-year-old veteran, 14 years in the league from UCLA, and he'll be part of a penetrating inside look. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at halftime of this game 4.
You know, you guys say he's 36 like he's ancient. 36 is not very old.
Well, he had to go up against Artis Gilmore in 6 grueling games, and now Moses Malone. If he were 24, he'd feel old now.
Right. Okay, Dick.
All right. But you're right. 36 isn't old. I mean, you're only 38, and you're young as anything. Here's Cheeks on a feed from Ivaroni. Is fouled inside. Good pass by Mark Ivaroni. Set up that foul situation. That is the second team foul on the Lakers and the second on Mike McGee.
Now, see, on that defense, on that pass, the weak side, the guys away from the ball, should have. Now, here comes the pass right down the middle. Now, McGee just reacted a little too late. If he'd reacted half a step sooner, he would have been there in time to pick that pass off.
Maurice Cheeks, who has averaged nearly 14 points against the Lakers and 6 assists a game. He already has 5 assists.
And he's the key man on their defense. See, they have a lot of block shots, but when the guys get in there close to the basket, they run out of momentum. That's why the Sixers can block shots a lot.
Magic Johnson. Ivaroni had it and lost it. McGee picks up the loose ball, and Mike McGee with his second basket of the game. And the second-year guard from Michigan forced to play with Norm Nixon out and not playing on the bench.
And I'll tell you one thing, McGee is playing good defense on Andrew Toney. But I want to tell you, the way he's playing, he'll be tired for a week after 1 quarter, I'm telling you, because having to concentrate on a guy like Andrew Toney will just wear you out.
Into the game for the Lakers is Dwight Jones, who is a midseason acquisition from the Chicago Bulls. He is a 6'10 center, and he's guarding Moses Malone. Ivaroni throws it away. Lakers by 4. The biggest lead. Lead changed hands 9 times. In the first period, Ivaroni knocks it away. It's still Laker ball.
No matter what combination they have out there, the Sixers are playing good team defense.
Keep in mind, they've been behind till the second half in all of the games so far. Malone gets the rebound, and if you look at Moses' stats in the first half, they're not impressive. But look at him when the game's over. Tony, Cheeks. Maurice Cheeks, one of the best shooters for Philadelphia in this series and in the playoffs. And the Laker lead has been cut to 2. 8:20 remaining in the first half. We're at the Forum in Inglewood. Wilkes from Magic Johnson.
Now that's what they have to do, is get the movement inside. And Magic is doing one good thing for the Lakers. He's forcing that ball up quickly, even under pressure and in a double team even.
He has 9 points and 5 assists so far in this game. And we'll have a Laker foul. It'll be their first team foul of the second period. It's on Dwight Jones.
Now here's Dwight and Moses. Little push there. Now what the fans saw was that second push, and the referee usually sees that third or second push.
You know, Dwight Jones and Moses Malone have worked out a lot together. And they said Dwight Jones knows a lot of Moses' moves. Doesn't mean he can stop him, but he's more familiar with them.
I'll tell you one thing, he paid to learn.
Mike McGee has his third personal foul. So McGee coming in with 4 points has 3 and goes out of the ball game. And he'll be replaced by Michael Cooper. But McGee gets a hand.
You know, Moses is a very difficult man to guard because, first of all, you got to keep him up the boards, and that requires contact. But he thrives on contact. So in order to play him, you would have to use selective contact. You'd have to initiate it and get away from it, initiate and get away from it, so that you can bother his rhythm. But if you keep constant contact with him, you're in for a long evening.
Andrew Toney's shooting percentage is off, although his point production is not, averaging 21 against the Lakers in this series.
And the reason for that, Dick, is he's a scorer, not necessarily a shooter, although he's a great shooter. He's a scorer, and scorers that do that, they'll get their points.
7:43 to go in the first half. Lakers 38, Sixers 35. Dwight Jones was pushed before the shot.
Great position and a great pass on that. They had to foul, stop that play because Magic can really pinpoint his passing.
Ivoroni's picked up his third personal foul, and Bobby Jones will check back in a moment. There's Bobby. Magic Johnson gets position inside. So Johnson going to work offensively, something the Lakers will need with Nixon on the bench and McAdoo questionable, and Magic has 11.
We don't know how this game is going to come out, of course, but you can see that the Magic is playing with the heart of a champion. Excuse me, Dick. He's playing with the Harvard champion. The Harvard champion means, to me, is that you may beat us, but we won't lose.
Turnover Story. Lakers are playing that way. Magic particularly.
And you expect that.
Pat Riley said we want to spoil a parade. Another Philadelphia foul. It'll be their second team foul. The Lakers already into the penalty.
This is the best passing game the Lakers have had so far in the series. And if they can do that, that's what you have to do with the Sixers defense. You have to stretch it, and you have to make precision passes. And if you can do that, you can beat it. But you have to keep doing it because they're going to be, that defensive pressure will be there all night.
Bobby Jones committed the foul. Magic Johnson has hit 19 of 20 from the free throw line in this series. You saw Kareem on the bench getting a breather now. He has 14 points. Moses Malone in the game and Dwight Jones behind him. And meanwhile, with Kareem on the bench and Dwight Jones watching Malone, they've opened up the biggest lead of the game of 7 points. Under 7 minutes to go in the first half. Julius misses the shot. The offensive rebound by Malone. The basket will count in a foul. So Malone scores and will go to the line. He has 6 now in the game.
You know, he's such a great rebounder, and I've watched him. He goes for a rebound, as I've said earlier in one of the other games. He goes for a rebound like he's going for a pass. He knows where it's going. He gets position there. Times it perfect.
You think it's easy being a bullfighter? No, sir. You must have a great courage and tremendous skill, and you have to move fast. That's why when I am here in America, I drink light beer from Miller. Light tastes fantastic, and it's less filling. That's important because in my profession, you always have to stay 1 step ahead of the bull. Oh! Make that 2 steps.
Ah. Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
There's new Fire from Firestone. At the 24 Hours of Daytona Road Racing Classic, Firestone introduced its S660 European speed-rated street radial in world-class style, winning the GTU class ahead of every other tire, including tires made just for racing. The S660 from Firestone, a winner in conditions tougher than you'd ever want to face on the highway. The S660, new Fire from Firestone, where our proof is in performance.
Tonight, the Martins are watching the whole world go up in flames. A home they may never get back.
Allstate update. Home replacement guarantee.
The Martins have homeowners insurance, but they don't have Allstate's home replacement guarantee. It's better than inflation protection alone, because it guarantees Allstate will pay to rebuild your home, brick for brick, regardless of cost. Today, you need Allstate's home replacement guarantee. Another reason you're in good hands with Allstate.
Is George Orwell's terrifying vision of 1984 a nightmare that's coming true? Walter Cronkite looks at 1984 revisited next Tuesday.
Pat Riley, Laker coach, what's his approach to his team, trailing 3 games to none in the championship?
Well, first of all, if you have to tell them the importance of the game, you're in too much trouble to even bother. So that never brought up. He's got a smart team. What he had to tell them is the adjustments we're going to make and what we're trying to accomplish with these adjustments, because that's important so that they know what they're trying to accomplish, so that if there's a breakdown, they can recover and make it happen what they're trying to get. But he never would say to you guys, our backs against the wall, or we're down 3-0, what we're going to do, because they know how important the game is. And if you, like I said, if you have to tell them, forget it.
This is the time for the Lakers to be careful. In the last 2 games, they had good leads midway to the second period, but the Sixers closed the gap and came on strong in the second half. So we're going to watch these last 6 minutes of the first half very closely as Malone brings the Sixers to the 3-point.
That's that quickness I was telling you about that the people underestimate.
Inside, double team on Dwight Jones. Landsberger's follow-up.
Another block shot, but the Lakers came up with it.
Alley-oop, and Wilkes knocked it away, but Malone recovered. Landsberger gets the rebound. Coming out with it is Magic. Against Tony.
Well, he knew where Moses was, that's for sure.
Magic has 15. Kareem was on the bench and coming back soon has 14 points. Julius Erving is short with it. And Landsberger tears it away from Bobby Jones for his 3rd rebound. And the crowd is up. Cheeks can't save it. Wilkes is fouled. 5:41 to go, and the Lakers are about as high as they've been.
And that was some good downfield blocking on that last play.
Here's Kareem back in the ball game. Dwight Jones goes out, and Andrew Toney is out of the ball game, replaced by Clint Richardson.
Now here's Dwight Jones trying to keeping Moses off the boards right there.
We're back to live action.
You can't just screen him. You have to also jump for the ball.
Wilkes backs it in. Jamal Wilkes, who's not had a chance to consistently do the things that he does to burn opponents, get free in the corner for his outside shot. Cheeks has the shot blocked by Kareem. The Lakers by 9. Magic will go to the line and try to make it 11, and the crowd loves the Laker effort. Philadelphia wants a timeout.
Working hard against the clock could mean perspiration odor. Announces the new improved Right Guard stain. So potent, one application destroys odor-causing bacteria on contact, and for up to 24 hours. You haven't had a it's almost more than you can take. Some days just go on and on, then you know the pressure's on. You work hard to be right guard. You work hard to be right guard.
Like all actors, I have an agent. Sign that. And a business manager. Pay that. And a secretary. Don't lose that. Luckily, Canon's come up with personal cartridge copiers. You know, the entire copying process is in here, so maintenance is as simple as this. And copies come in black, brown, or blue on plain paper. Finally, Canon PC-10 or PC-20 for the most important person in my life, me.
For information, call toll-free. Canon Personal Cartridge Copying. Plain and simple.
Coming up at halftime. time, Kevin Lockery will analyze the first half. He just told me that Magic Johnson is dominating this game with less emotion than he's seen throughout the series. Also, we're going to be talking live from Philadelphia with Joe Frazier and his battling son, Marvis Frazier, who is due to fight Joe Bugner on Saturday. And then Pat O'Brien has a special look at Kareem. Let's go to Pat.
Thank you, Brent. You know, there's more to Kareem than all those stats he's collected through the years. He's a sensitive, ever-changing, mysterious man. And at the half, we'll take a special look at him. Let's go to Dick Stockton.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Brent and Kevin, we're talking about Magic Johnson, who has figured in 25 of the Lakers' 48 points. In this first half, he has 15 points and 5 assists. And going on the line once again, keep in mind he has missed only one free throw in this series.
Well, it didn't happen that time, Dick.
They're not listening to me. The Lakers have an 11-point lead. Magic has 12 of his 17 points in this second period. We have 5:09 remaining in the first half. Keep in mind that the Lakers have led by 4 points at the half on one occasion and 3 points twice. Malone. Kareem to the rebound. Cradles the ball and gets it to Michael Cooper. But Philadelphia is back on defense as they have been throughout the series, cutting off the Laker break so well. Lemon Johnson. Fronting Kareem. Gets it out to Cooper. Jamal Wilkes over Jr.
Now that's the kind of passing the Lakers have to keep up if they're going to be able to continue playing this series.
Billy Cunningham has said we got to stop the Lakers swinging the ball around. They've done it for the most part. But the Lakers have the impetus here, and there's another turnover. 4:12 to go in the first half. Try to make it a 15-point lead, and they do. Magic Johnson doesn't want to go on vacation. That's apparent as the Lakers have run off 10 straight points and with under 4 minutes to go in the first half have ballooned to 54-39.
Now here's that Magic man. As he runs up, he points, sees the open man, Michael Cooper, coming on from the other side. Great athletic play by Cooper, though. Great pass, too.
And Michael Cooper's reaction. He is starting this game without Norm Nixon, who is on the bench. Bob McAdoo hasn't played, and yet the Lakers have really dug deep, at least to this point, with a terrific effort.
Now, you know, in other games, they've had big leads. They've had a 15-point lead before. But I think that this is a different kind of 15-point lead.
How?
In that the way they got the lead is the way they're playing and the tempo they're using. Before, it was sometimes it wasn't so much what they were doing, but what Philadelphia wasn't doing. Tonight, the way they got the lead is what they're doing. For example, Mike McGee came in the game for the Lakers and played very well. Played under control. He did a good job for him coming off the bench. You have to have that stuff from the bench. Not so much points, but how they play while they're out there. And do they hold the fort and do they accomplish what you want to accomplish? Now, what they're doing is guys like Mike McGee gets the ball to Magic because the Lakers have to have that ball in Magic's hand and let him force the tempo.
Turnovers resulting in these points. A big part of this game, and so is he. Magic Johnson, 17 points.
And he may be the only man on the court that has the stamina equal to Moses.
Kurt Rambis is back in the ball game, replacing Landsberger. And Maurice Cheeks got free on a pass from Andrew Toney. So Cheeks now has 10 points. He's the leading scorer for Philadelphia. Now let's see if the Sixers can close the gap, something they've been able to do in every game so far before the first half. Lemon Johnson on Kareem. And Jamal used his body well to move out a few of those Sixers. He has hit his last 4 shots. Once again, a 15-point lead. Matches the biggest of the game for the Lakers. 3:24 remaining in the first half. The crowd is with the Lakers all the way. Tony goes in.
That was just an outstanding move.
He has shown a couple of them already. Off the rim, intended for Kareem. Fine bounce pass and a foul. Michael Cooper fouls Maurice Cheeks, but Andrew Toney thread the needle on just about as pretty a bounce pass as you'll ever see.
This is that move that he made to the basket. See there, now there's the pickup there. He goes right down the middle. Knows where he wants to go.
Michael Cooper's first personal foul. The Lakers are in the penalty. Sixers have 14 fouls. Norm Nixon, picture of dejection in game number 3. McAdoo has not been able to play because of the pulled muscle in his thigh. The Sixers now are 4 for 9 from the free throw line. 12-point lead for the Lakers. 3 minutes to go in the half. Malone knocks it out of bounds.
And that was almost a great defensive play by Moses, because he was helping out on Kareem, and he played that passing lane as well. He just didn't come with the ball as I've seen a guy do in a long time.
Jamal Wilkes will inbound. Lakers have had their problems inbounding the ball in their own half of their court and getting points out of it. Not that time. That's Wilkes with 12. 5 in a row for Jamal Wilkes. You watch the game clock. 2:35 to go. Maurice Cheeks. And here comes Wilkes. He's got Magic Johnson, Cooper, and Wilkes with him. Cooper, the trailer. Missed the layup.
That was a big basket ace
that he didn't get.
Right.
Tony fires it away.
That
so
takes a little bit of onus off of that.
A little bit. 11 turnovers now for Philadelphia. 14-point lead for the Lakers. Sixers had a 7-point lead early in the game, and since then it's been all L.A. Foul. Maybe on Clement Johnson.
And the Lakers are trying to get goaltending. Not tonight. Not on that play. Now here's Jamal working, trying to get free for that shot. That's playing without the ball. The kind of moves you get so that when that opening, you create an opening and be able to take advantage of it.
Kareem on the line. Clement Johnson with the second personal foul. You ask why Philadelphia wants to win now and not take any chances. You saw what happened when the Lakers failed to win the 5th game against San Antonio. Went to San Antonio for game 6, and then McAdoo came up with an injury that has helped put him out of action. So you don't let anyone off the hook if you can.
If the Lakers get off the hook tonight, it was because they took themselves off. It won't be because Philadelphia let up on them, I can tell you that.
Less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Bobby Jones open.
He's hit that open shot consistently. It's probably the best he's ever shot from the field in this playoff series.
He's 3 for 3 in the game. Cooper. Clement Johnson has muscled Kareem way out now. Shuffles it into Randall. And he draws the foul. The Lakers are getting the inside shots, getting free for the outside shots, and making things happen. Something they haven't done consistently so far in this championship.
And Earl is talking to the Philadelphia bench because they were gesturing, and he's saying, I don't want that.
He's pointing to Al Domenico, the trainer of the 76ers, and not Cunningham. Moses Malone picked up the foul. That's his second personal foul. The only Sixer with more than 2 is Mark Ivoroni with 3. There's Al Domenico, longtime trainer of Philadelphia.
Well, he figures he can say something. If he gets thrown out of the game, they won't lose any strategy anyway.
Just some tape. Kurt Rambis. Julius Erving on the bench. He has scored 6 points in the ball game.
Well, that's never an indication lately in the last couple of years of how well he's playing. His scoring is only a part, and sometimes a very small part of the overall game that he plays.
He could be blocking shots. He could be setting up other players. He could be rebounding. Could be a million things. Doesn't have to be scoring. 14-point lead for the Lakers. Minute and a half to go in the first half. Cooper knocks it away and has a big chase for it. Double team, and Magic almost had it and lost it out of bounds. But the overall hustle has got to pay off for this team. The effort alone can be translated. Tony guarded by Wilkes.
The Lakers are swarming and double teaming. And they're gambling on defense. And the only reason they're able to do that is because of Kareem in the middle. They'll make guys learn to pass very quickly.
Second personal foul on Michael Cooper. 15
now
fouls.
Here's Magic almost with a steal. Oh, he says, I should have had that one.
Both teams in the penalty. That means 5 team fouls in a quarter, and that means a free throw. 8 points and 6 assists now for Andrew Toney, who averaged 19.5 during the regular year. He was the 6th man off the bench last year for Philadelphia out of Southwest Louisiana and moved into the starting spot. Actually, during last year's championship. Kareem. Yeah! Foul! The basket count. Clement Johnson's foul. Julius Erving comes right back in the ball game. And Clement Johnson is out.
Now here's a pass. Kareem gets hit right there, and it goes in anyway. When that happens, that's what you have, those long nights when those guys get all those points on you.
For those people who are clamoring for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to leave Los Angeles, curious to see who the Lakers would get to play center. 3 personals on Clement Johnson, and Moses Malone will go to the line. Now, Moses Malone, so far, has not been brilliant statistically. He has 8 points in the ball game and 7 rebounds. But Moses Malone has been a player who's built up a head of steam, like a runaway express. And he had 16-plus rebounds in this series, and you know he's going to slowly come on and come on.
Well, maybe he hasn't had great stats for him, but he's got 2 guys about 3 minutes ahead of schedule on being tired.
That's when you look at your schedule on a train and say, oh, they should be getting tired about now.
And they're 3 minutes ahead of schedule, I can tell you that.
Lakers up by 14, under a minute to go in the first half. Kareem doubled, finds Michael Cooper with a fine pass and a basket. There's Kareem, the playmaker. Biggest lead of the game now for the Lakers. Maurice Cheeks. Ahead to Cooper. And Cheeks saves it beautifully to Toney. And they call a foul on Rambis, blocking Andrew Toney.
Great defensive play by Maurice Cheeks. They made the right pass, and he broke it up. Now here's the pass. Now they drop it out to Cooper, who's a quick man. And there goes Cheeks, beats him to the ball. And then he saves it. And there's Toney, and there's the foul.
And Kurt Rambis becomes the first Laker, or the second Laker, to pick up 3 personal fouls. Mike McGee's the other. Jamal Wilkes and Mike McGee. There's McGee coming into the ball game, and Kurt Rambis goes out, so that changes the Laker alignment. Cooper and Wilkes are the forwards now.
With the small lineup now, Kareem has to go in and tend to the boards.
And Magic and Mike McGee at guard. Norm Nixon, to repeat, if you missed the start of the game, with a strained tendon in his knee, unable to play. And Bob McAdoo with a pulled thigh muscle, also unable to play. The subject of fine halftime feature, an inside look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar coming up. Toney has 11, Maurice Cheeks has 11, so the Laker guards are their top scorers with 11 apiece, and a 20-second timeout called for by the Lakers.
And they want to make sure they get that last shot and not take it so early unless there's a breakdown defensively for Philadelphia. You don't want to take it so early that they have a chance to shoot. But you want to take it early enough so that you have a chance for an offensive rebound.
In the other games, the Lakers had built up leads, such as 15 points in Game 3, only to see Philadelphia come back strong and narrow the gap to 4 or 3 points. But not so in this one, because the Lakers, who actually got their impetus from a 3-point shot by Michael Cooper to end the first period to take the lead, have opened it up and have maintained leads of 14, 15 points. Game 5, if necessary, will be Thursday night from the Spectrum in Philadelphia, 9 o'clock Eastern time. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Wilkes from the corner. Bobby Jones, and the Sixers will try to get on with 2 seconds to go. A three-point attempt. Rims the hoop.
Now that the guy can shoot. That was about 30 feet, and he expected to make it.
But the Lakers have the lead, and they have played their best basketball of the first half. They outscored Philadelphia 39-27 in the second period and hit 70, that's 70% of their shots in the quarter. So at the end of the half, Lakers 65, Sixers 51. We'll be back with Brent Musburger and company here at the Forum in just a moment.
I'm going to Kingsford tonight. I'm really going to do it right. Don't have to fight it. I'm just going to light it. I'm really going to do it right. I'm going to Kingsford tonight. You going to trust that steak to any ordinary charcoal? Get the best. Kingsford fires up fast, easy every time. Get out in Kingsford. Do it right. I can't wait for that first bite. Kingsford tonight. I'm going to Kingsford tonight.
I've made up my mind.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. But why don't you make me some coffee?
Times like these are made for taster's choice.
Soft as the moment, rich as the feeling. Only Taster's Choice has the soft, rich flavors so right for your best coffee times.
Columbia Pictures is where the action is this summer. Come along for the chase of your life on Blue Thunder, the ultimate weapon that can outrun, outmaneuver, and outfox anything in the sky. Blue Thunder, rated R. And come along for the 3D thrill of your life. Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone in 3D. The first movie that puts you in outer space. Rated PG. Sizzling summer action from Columbia Pictures. Check newspapers for theaters.
Your Honda dealer is wheelin' and dealin'. It's the two-wheel deal. You can get a 1982 Passport for $498. A 1982 MB5 for $398. A 1982 Urban Express for $298. And many other great lightweight bikes for lightweight prices, too.
As Garber readies for his 2-0 pitch. Instead to first. Braves cling to a 1-run lead here. We're in the top half of the 7th inning. Now the 2-0 on the way, and there's a bouncing ball between short and third. Base hit left field. Pena will stop at second base. And he now represents the potential tying run. Mazzilli the potential go-ahead run at first after the pinch hit single. And Richie Hebner will bat for Manny Sarmiento. The veteran Hebner batting .202, 2 homers, 13 RBIs. As a pinch hitter this year, Hebner has gone 5 for 24. Nobody out in the inning. Now looks like we're going to get a new pair of shoes for Tony Pena.